Sample more exotic fruits of the ocean on board the QE2 as Alan Whicker continues his caviar cruise on a fast boat to China.
"50 seafarers take to the skies. The more adventurous cruisers are flying into the unknown and high above Port Moresby get their last longing look at home, the QE2. Such a wrench leaving that familiar security. The eastern highlands of Papua New Guinea were unknown to Europeans until the 30s, when the first white men arrived searching for gold. Today we're searching for mudmen 5,000 feet up in the mountains at Goroka, where are local Sing Sing groups at the airport to meet us. Strange to recall the first wheel that Papuans ever saw was on an aircraft. I wonder if this is the first Hawaiian they've ever seen.
Wow. Aloha. That means hello with love in Hawaiian.
Islanders separated by an uncommon language.
Means thank you in Hawaiian. I live in Hawaii.
3, 4, 15.
15.
15 grades, yeah.
Do you speak any English? Yes.
You go to
School? Yes. Yes. What grade are you in? Grade 10.
Who do you want in the middle?
you.
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Okay, baby. Hey, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Can I take my glasses off?
This group's obviously done a bit of posing in the past, but 30 miles further into the mountains, the Asaro Valley receives few visitors. For 6 months, their village has been preparing for the arrival of the cruisers and now awaits impassively in a silence broken by shrill tree insects. The long-awaited outsiders arrive. From such a collection of beings from another age, who knows what to expect? These aliens seem friendly enough, though timid. Slowly, cautiously, the outlandish group advances. Here in the jungle, their costumes seem strange and sometimes, let's be honest, downright weird. What's more, they show a disturbing tendency to stand in front of villagers and talk about them as though they weren't here.
They're very impassive, and it's rather disconcerting.
Well, maybe it's because we don't make the effort.
Then, from the forest, the mudmen. They don't do anything. There's no dancing or chanting or drumming. They just advance like shades of the dead. It's strange and disconcerting. Once, it's said, the people of this village fled for their lives when attacked by neighbouring tribesmen and hid in a river. When they emerged, they were covered in grey mud, and the enemy, believing them ghosts returning to avenge their dead, ran in terror. The village was never attacked again. Their grotesque helmet masks of mud and fibre are fearsome, even the one with the nose job. Cruisers, though silenced and uncertain, stand their ground. The mudmen accept the attentions of the outsiders with resignation. Posing, playing, even lending their helmets for photographs, though they're not always a very good fit.
There you are. Katunga, Katunga.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very heavy.
Can you breathe inside there?
Yes.
Fabulous.
Can you see? Horrible disease. Yes, can you see?
Yes, of course.
Can you see?
I told you, the rape and the ravishing begins at
That's what
3
I'm waiting
o'clock.
for. I was waiting for him to start, and he didn't. You told me 2:30.
Not long ago, cowrie shells were currency here. Today, after any small and tentative sale, villagers ask for 5 and seem unconcerned whether they get dollars or kina or even cigarettes for their clay figures and bone necklaces and insecure spears.
What I like about this is because it comes apart and I can take it home.
And it's also extremely poisonous, right?
No, it's not.
It's got a poison on the tip, I expect. Just be careful.
Even the everyday way of making fire seems to fascinate the outsiders. Yes, you were never lovely.
How about it? Now, don't smile.
In return, visitors record village voices and offer a playback to an engrossed audience. The mudmen's few possessions, their Stone Age skills, are displayed. Their homes are open for inspection.
Just watch your head when you are getting.
Can't see a little.
One way or another, the outlandish visitors make quite a favourable impression. Having briefly shown cruisers some of the pleasures and poverties of the Third World, the QE2 leaves Port Moresby for the Torres Strait and the Arafura Sea. She's halfway round the Pacific on her 3-month winter cruise, and after their most adventurous run ashore so far, passengers within this vast space capsule return to the familiar, unworried rhythm of the days. We're near the equator now, and these sunny days are long and well-filled. The daunting price of our tickets up front covers almost every indulgence that follows, though, one way or another, we can still be a bit sheepish about it all. And at night, mud men are exchanged for feathered women, and we're back in the old routine. At dawn, the QE2 reaches the morning of the world, the Isle of Bali. We've come jogging through the Java Sea, though without a salt cake smokestack. Beneath the great live volcano of Mount Agung, a holy mountain, the QE2 glides through a delicate Balinese fishing fleet. In this island, all things are beautiful, except perhaps the QE2. Trouble with white is, it does show the dirt, and she's not due for a wash and brush up until Hong Kong. So her 12-ton anchor's lowered at this most magical of Indonesia's 13,000 islands, where British seamen were once forbidden shore leave because it was certain that, like Marco Polo's sailors, they'd desert. Cruisers are greeted by the pervasive, haunting shimmer of the gamelan orchestra. The whole of Bali is bathed in a sort of enchantment. Yet by now, cruisers are so sated by sights, so familiar with exotic fantasy, so blasé about a lilting pageant, that they pass their stunning welcome with hardly a glance. Up the road, another sort of welcome is less easy to pass.
Yes, thank you.
When the outside world first landed here with its dollars, some of serene Bali suffered an attack of tourist pollution.
Right here.
81, we've already 81.
Cruisers come expecting the Balinese to be as remote and impassive as the mudmen, but somehow they're not. This isle of 22,000 temples enjoys a creative culture so complex and sophisticated that visitors en masse do not blend into the landscape. But despite us, this ornament of tropical Asia remains one huge botanical garden. The mother temple of Besaki is, of course, not just a tourist destination. This is a funeral cortege without a body, here to register a death, to make an offering. Every Balinese is an artist in some way, and on so precipitous a stage in equatorial steam heat, cruisers begin to wish they'd eaten less breakfast.
You're making very heavy weather about it. It's only a few steps.
No, thank you. What's that word? Yeah.
They're sweet, these kids, aren't they?
Oh, they're not.
They're getting a little more commercial.
Aren't you? New Jersey, yeah, that's what you're Do you take lots of exercise?
Not at all, never, ever. No.
What's your figure then? You don't?
No, not at all. Just eat too much, take no exercise, and visit all the temples I can.
Oh, is that good? Good news.
Some are content with the view from the bottom, others exercise their sea legs.
Why aren't you running?
I saw a fellow doing it. He didn't look too comfortable.
Straight back into the sick bay.
In deference to temple etiquette, some of those wearing shorts have hired ritual skirts, but manage to remain quite distinguishable from the Balinese. Also instantly identifiable, the crew. Having seen quite enough temples, they prefer to stay around the harbour.
No, I don't want it. I like your hat.
A few years ago, money had little significance in this barter economy, but today some of the Balinese have become more like the rest of us.
When you looking, just looking. You want to give me a good price, I'll buy it. Yes, I give you 250. I'll sell it to you for less than that.
Thank you. I really don't want it.
$3 for two of them. I told you before, $3.
Hey. $2,
That's okay. I owe last class. Best price, $3. I'm Mr. Cheap, but I... I'm up.
Back from their slog around the temples, cruisers face the final assault of massed ebony before reaching the haven of the QE2.
I don't want to buy anything. I bought a man here. How much? $20? No, too much. No, too much. $20 too much.
Australians do have their own brand of sales resistance.
No, I don't want it. Don't want. No money, mate. No money. What's wrong? I don't want nothing.
In the twilight, the QE2 prepares to sail for Singapore. But salesmen's boats still bob around for business, for it's alleged that on occasions some soap or cigarettes, perhaps even a ship's mattress or a few towels, may descend on ropes, bartered for some desirable Balinese bric-a-brac. Welcoming lions of Singapore, the Lion City, are tradition. Perhaps less so are its Chinese girl pipers.
There's the baggage. We've got the baggage ashore. Are we ready to roll? Wait a minute. Where's your 6 men for inboard?
In the usual organised chaos, some passengers are disembarking for good, while, as at every port, food's taken aboard by the truckload.
Not bad for size, eh? Good.
And as usual, Executive Chef John Bainbridge is on parade with his trusty knife, ready to accept and reject.
Nice, eh? Red watermelon. Good. Go. How many of them we got? 400 watermelon altogether. Yeah. The tomatoes are going back. Okay. Right, I'll get some of the parsley. got about 50 tons of stuff coming today, including a whole wagon of stuff which is being brought direct from the airport in the thermal containers, which has come from Sydney, most of it, flowing up here.
Well, why didn't you take it on board in Sydney?
That's the obvious, that is a very good question. But when we left Sydney, our fridges were burst into capacity.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I want to look at that case of apples. These are American apples, of course, which we had to have shipped in.
American apples are notoriously tasteless.
They are,
like,
and they're a lovely colour.
Beautiful colour and full of cotton wool.
That's true. I wouldn't disagree with you, sir. But as you say, they are exactly what you say, I'm sure.
Thank you. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
No.
Yes, once in a blue moon, they're delicious. The QE2 gains a few tons of supplies, but loses a few tons of passengers.
So look, this is all your luggage?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're travelling light.
Very light.
Can you explain your system to me?
Well, the system is that you put everything on the airplane, one way or another.
But how many pieces have you got?
Well, there's only 20 pieces here.
Hey, this is light. Now listen, notice, it says on one of them, the one with the peanut butter, it says next stop, Cleveland. So we don't have to bother with that one.
That's out of the way, yeah. What is this?
I have to show you that.
Wheat.
Is that necessary?
I have to show you this because it's really a golf club cover. You put it over top of a golf club.
But I use this
like
as a bedfellow.
I see. What do you need that?
But
What is this for?
Well,
that's wheat, decor.
Decoration.
Just decor?
Yeah, that came from New Zealand.
A friend gave us that.
I see.
Get that all together.
I bet your friend was very pleased to get rid of it.
This is the moat from Tahiti.
But it looks as though you're just going
Look
on
at this,
you're going
look
on
at
a
that.
picnic.
Tahiti. Never go anywhere without your royal water.
You seem to have done yourself an injury. Have you?
Injury?
Yes.
I am a basket case. Now, that's from climbing the temple. Then the man at the Golden Door cocktail party broke my metatarsal arch. He weighed just 250 pounds. Had his arms around the 4 girls. He stepped back and me. He broke every bone in my metatarsal. I spent the whole time in the dentist with 2 abscessed teeth, plus the broken arch, plus the blister.
Sorry, what has the abscessed teeth got to do with the metatarsal?
That was just...
Was that
But
the
I
Golden
spent
Door?
the whole time
that was in between.
in the chair here, the dentist chair.
But she's had a great cruise. She came on in great health. As soon
Yeah,
as she
and I
got on
haven't
the
been
ship,
to a
things
doctor in
happened.
7 years.
Yeah, but it's because of your own adventure.
So
really.
big.
You can't blame the ship for
no, you
somebody
can't.
stamping on your foot, can you?
Yes,
It's
because
a magnificent ship, really.
they should have had the party in a larger room.
That's a point.
There were too many people there at the party.
I see. I hope you make it.
I think the chances are we will.
And there goes Mrs. Jones, slightly wounded but already booked for next year's cruise and heading towards her next catastrophe.
There goes the liquor.
The QE2 sets sail for Thailand. While on board, we continue our comfortable adventure, pleasantly insulated from life's realities. At sea, bridge is traditional, but since leaving Singapore, we've taken aboard new passengers and a new sound. next port, Pattaya, a fishing village until the world's fleets discovered its splendid anchorage and the Thais set out to display their sights and sensations, both pure and less pure. Stewards invest their tips in a casual street-side transaction, buying freedom on wheels. Pattaya's only a couple of hours' drive from Bangkok, but he's not planning to go very far.
I won't give you my ID card.
If you don't give me ID, you have to give me a deposit. $20. I can't give you my ID card. Hey, can't give you. Mine. What's your name?
Name? Joking.
Tell it. Okay, money.
I'm just in here.
After money's changed hands, he leaves for his run ashore with adequate chrome and power. Cruisers, as you might expect, prefer more ponderous transport.
How was it? Yeah?
This is the one I'd like to have, yeah.
This mother elephant with her 23-day-old calf will find it hard to forget she has actually been kissed by a former Hollywood film star, June Havoc.
Turn around, you beautiful, funny little creature. Oh! Saw you coming. Oh, look how shy. Baby shy.
After the elephant farm, the orchid farm. While back in Pattaya, everybody's cruising, and the crew are considering other Thai exotica. The young ladies of the town, noticeably approachable, seem quite ready to be taken for a ride. Now you see the significance of that steward's Kawasaki. They're making friends rather easily. But the local dancing girls are prepared to keep people at arm's length. Cruisers enjoy a theatrical display offering instant Thailand. It's a varied performance, and a longish one, and the tickets are quite expensive. But downtown they have even more direct ways of extracting money from a visitor's pocket. She's just checking his current account. And being Thailand, of course, not everything is quite as it seems. He's about to discover that pretty conquest is a fella. However, they're not all transvestites, surely. No, of course they're not. Not to be outdone, the ladies of the cruise are also ready to submit to new experience.
All right, man. Once more.
Oh, boy. I look good.
All this can lead to positively elephantine baby talk.
You don't want a more elephant banana, that's nice. With a buffalo banana. More, yes, well, all right, Joe.
They don't have a dog. No, I haven't
Hey, no, I need.
Then there's a disco dance. This elephant's excuse me appeals to some of the less shy cruisers. The bars offer every type of confrontation.
ส่วนชาหินเป็นนักมวยถนัดขวาจรดซ้ายออกดวงกมลแต่ซ้ายชาหินและเตะขวาดวงกมลเสียหลักตีขวาไว้ชาหินเตะขวาตีแขนดวงกมลเตะพับเล่าและจับคอของชาหินเตะขวา
With such an example set before a celebrating group of stokers, it's not surprising that one of them soon accepts the challenge. He's a well-set-up lad, and after all, these ties are all so tiny.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now I would like to introduce you to the name of the boxer, this competitor, this Belgian competitor for this program. Between red corner, Jim Davis from England. And blue corner, is Thai boxer ไก่อ่อนแดดรุ่งศักดิ์ยับปักหลังทีเดียวเป็นนักมวยสัญชาติอังกฤษนะครับ
With considerable ringside support, Jim Davis has a distinct advantage in weight and reach.
Jim Davis แกงหมัดขวาเดินเข้าหาแล้วหมอก Jim Davis ทอดขวาเข้าลำตัวไก่อ่อนแดดซ้าย
But his opponent's far more experienced at putting the bare foot in.
ไก่อ่อนแดดซ้ายลำตัวจิมเดวิสเข้าไปไก่อ่อนจะตีเข่ายังตีไม่ได้จิมเดวิสจับกอดแล้วดันไปติดเชือกทางด้านมุมแดงกรรมการจับแยกออกมากรรมการบอกชกได้จิมเดวิสถีบไก่อ่อนชกซ้ายไก่อ่อนตีเข่าซ้ายจิมเดวิสจับกระทุ่มลงหน้าเวทีไก่อ่อนตีเข่าซ้ายกรรมการจับแยกออกไปกลางเวทีเดวิสเดินเข้าหาเดวิสชักใหม่เดินแล้วก็ปักหลักรออยู่กลางเวทีเดวิสเข้าไปไก่อ่อนแต่ซ้ายเดวิสล้มทั้งยืนเลยทีเดียวไก่อ่อนแต่ซ้ายก็ปล่อยไก่ ลงครับกรรมการนับ 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ปรากฏว่ากายออนเดรุ่งศักดิ์ใช้เท้าซ้ายแตะเข้าปลายคางของเจมส์เดวิสเป็นฝ่ายชนะเราไปในกลางยกที่1นะครับใช้เวลา1 นาทีกับ 34.79 วินาที เดวิสจากประเทศอังกฤษยังไม่หายงงนะครับตอนที่พี่เลี้ยงแล้วก็กองเชียร์กำลังประคบประหงมกันอยู่
Go on, Jim's going to beat me. Fucking
Oh, พี่เลี้ยงสูงเกินไปอาจารย์สูงเกินไปนักมวยคู่ต่อไปเป็นคู่ที่3ในรายการเป็นนักมวย2 ต่อ 1นะครับแพทสิทธิ์บูดีน่าเป็นนักมวยชาย
No, feel it. Split the tooth. Very quick. They're good. They're good.
โอ้โหแดงน้อยโดนเข้ามาทางซ้ายทางขวาเลย
I think I broke my toe. Kicking it.
Undismayed by Jim's broken toe and tooth, even larger members of the crew tackle even tinier ties.
ยอดพร้อมแตะขวาทางแตะซ้ายชกขวายอดพร้อมเดินเข้ามาแตะซ้ายลำตัวยอดพร้อมแตะขวาชกขวาเข้าซ้ายคางทางตัวหมุนออกไป
A few low kicks and high blows from Mark Broom's tiny opponent, while the QE2 contingent advises on technique and tactics. None of it works.
มาร์คลงไปนอนกรรมการนับ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ปรากฏว่ายอดพลขอเชิญยอดพลรับรางวัล
Pattaya is becoming the new Havana, the harbour where every sailor dreams of coming to rest and relax. One way or another, it's a lively night out. Next day in the sunshine, it's the time for more innocent pursuits. Yet even healthy outdoor activity can exact its price.
Shore party QE2.
Pushback, come on, Bob.
Frank, we've got one of the cooks is detained in the hospital and we're going to have to pay his medical fees. Can you get the ship's agent back to the shore side, please? He's on board somewhere.
Bob Venning, QE2's chief security officer.
$110, that's...
Yeah, that's medical fees. About £70, isn't it?
2,400.
For doing what?
2,400.
For doing what? What have they done?
Shore party.
Stitches and just cleaned him up really and cut under his thing.
What's the name of the cook?
Dennis Henry.
Hello, Frank.
KP, I think it's...
The name of the cook is Dennis Henry. He's a KP. We have a problem that we're going to cause your problem, okay? We have a crew member, one of our cooks, in hospital. He's in, I think, the Apollo hospital.
Apollo?
Yeah, and they're going to charge at least $110 American for medical treatment. They're going to bring him down in an ambulance, okay? So that's the first problem. I want the money paid and him back on board the ship.
Now?
Well, when he comes down, no, I don't want you to run away, okay? You stay here until they bring him down to here. And I don't know what's going to happen now about his motorbike. He's crashed a motorbike.
Motorbike?
Yeah. So,
not the Jeep car. We had the Jeep car accident just
no, that's cleared up. That's cleared up. The $500 cleared up. We still haven't sorted out the motorbike with the police. That's something.
So they're sending
an ambulance down here with the cook, okay, with a kitchen porter rather, okay.
So it's there now here.
So we want to get him back. Is this the van? How are you feeling?
Come on, boys.
Well, we'll get you back on board, okay? The rest of the things we'll sort out. What's happening about the motorbike? Shore party QE2. Okay, we've got an injured crew member coming back on number 12 launch, okay? He's had a motorbike accident, but he is walking wounded, so I've told him to go straight down the hospital.
Okay. This is the doctor report.
Doctor's report, okay, fine. And that's his medicine, you say?
Yes.
If we give you that back, we get a rebate. We've got plenty of medicine on the ship.
No, just keep it.
You give it back, but I will not give you the money back.
We saw last year at one incident, I saw a little lad of about 17 with a 1,000cc bike trying to kick it over in the main street. He wasn't successful, and eventually he went and got his money back, which was just as well.
Another one went through a plate glass window.
Yeah, another one ran under a truck. We had one man here for a month in a critical condition, and eventually we had to fly a nurse out from England and bring him all back at Cunard's expense, of course.
Good Lord.
We're responsible for getting them back home.
Now, how did you do yesterday when they had their run ashore? They had a whole day. They've had a day and a half now.
Yeah, we've done so far well.
What's the,
I mean, the score
what's the casualty
so far,
list?
Yeah, only 5 yesterday. We had a couple who were detained by the police because of arguments with the local people who hire cars and things like that. But we only had 5 reports to the hospital as having come off motorbikes. Nothing serious, thankfully, but you've probably got another couple of dozen who've just skinned elbows and won't go down to the hospital ananyway.
Yes.
It's a terrible situation, really, the insurance point of view, because if a crew member kills himself, you know, this is it's a very unsatisfactory situation to be in, you know.
Yeah. And what about other more serious matters, like drugs, for example? This is the centre of the drug business, isn't it? The Golden Triangle.
It is, yes, and we'll probably find out about that a little later on if any of the crew members have managed to purchase some ashore, you know.
How big a worry is this for you?
It's not so much a worry for us as a worry for the people if we catch them, you know. Then, of course, the unions, the Merchant Navy unions will have nothing to do with the drug addict. If he's caught smoking hash or on drugs whatsoever, he's lost his union card, he's then no longer fit to go to sea on any ship whatsoever. So as far as his little smoke of a couple of ounces of hash, it's going to cost him his livelihood. It's that serious.
So that makes them think a bit.
It makes them think a lot, you know.
Yes.
It still goes on. In any young community around the world, you get this, and in a place like this where it's, I wouldn't say easily obtainable, because I believe the locals here are very, very strict on it. I mean, in Thailand, if you're caught running drugs, it's 30 years. I mean, they lock you up and throw away the key, sort of thing.
In a Thai jail, which is...
In a Thai jail, which is
something else.
About 100 years in another jail. Yeah.
I mean, you're not like the Corps of Military Police. You can't put the seamen on a charge, can you?
Oh, yes, yeah, we can discipline the seamen.
Can you put them in the brig?
If necessary, yes. We have a brig and we can detain a seaman. Normally, we put it down for his own benefit. Either his mates want to get at him or he wants to get at his mates. Most of it is when they've had a few drinks and they're very, very brave, and the gold braid means nothing then, you know, and they're in front of their mates. The next day when they're up in front of the staff captain, they're very mild and meek, and they accept what's done to him, you know.
But I mean, in the army or in the navy, he's standing to attention and he's jumping to it and he's doing what he's told. This is a much more relaxed, quasi-civilian sort of job.
It's very difficult to overcome.
He's got his shop steward behind him, I suppose.
Very difficult situation to overcome, Alan. When I left the army, being a sergeant major in the army, I came onto the ship and I expected the people, officer, jump and all that, and they just as well go to you as anything else, you know. You the ship, and I expected the people, officer, jump and all that, and they just as well go to you as anything else, you know, they, you must respect them for being civilians, as much as they must respect you for doing your job. This is the only way you do it, and normally, as I say, I know most of the crew, well, I don't nearly all of them, they nearly all know me, and they respect you for the job you do. I mean, we're their friend in situations ashore like this, as well as their, sort of their disciplinarian.
Now, what other security problems have you got?
Security problems, well, we get passengers who complain about other passengers making noise. They're not security as such, but we as a security department deal with this. The only thing we make a rule on, we will not come into a family squabble. Now, we've had situations on board where a husband and wife come down from the casino, she's lost all her money or he's lost, and they've had a real fight and he's kicked her out of the cabin. She calls security, we go up there, we learnt our lesson, you deal with it.
Yes.
But what happens is that they make up and you're still the enemy.
What about the drink problem? There's a lot of,
yes,
a lot of drink around.
Drink. Well, this is a problem as far as the individual is concerned. Of course, the company, the more you drink, the more profit they make, you know.
There's a thought. So you're not trying to discourage it?
We're not trying to discourage it, but there comes to a situation when we've had people who haven't known their cabins. You know, I remember once a Mr. Wright, I had to put him to bed, but unfortunately I got the wrong cabin for the wrong Mr. Wright, and it was... Mr. Wrong, he turned out to be, but he couldn't even talk or even converse anyway, you know, and he would just sit on the theatre bar and fell off the stool.
I mean, you're not really a judge of morality, are you? I can remember one of the, I think it was an American lady passenger, who was having a very passionate love affair with one of the stewards.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Well, as far as we're concerned, she's allowed to, and he's not. You know, this is the sort of situation. I mean, she can do no wrong being a passenger. Yes. He can do an awful lot of wrong being a crew member.
How about 3 men?
3 men, I'm sending them back on board. Because they haven't got their money. They've offered to pay this man all the money they have, okay? If you want to put them in jail, you put them in jail. They've offered, they don't believe it is fair. They did not damage the bike to $65 worth. Do you understand me? They did not cause this damage. So it becomes a case of one man's word against the other. See, every story's got two sides, but they were apparently banging the scooters together.
Yes, definitely. They are both sides of the story.
Yeah. It's not one scooter. Please, it's my scooter. It's damaged. We had to pay. We had to repair it.
We agree.
Yeah, we understand.
We had only 300 baht for him, but I have to pay more than 1,000 baht.
I can understand this. I can understand the situation, but I cannot honestly understand the situation whereby you let these people have these things without insurance.
In Thailand, it's no insurance.
But it's for your own protection, isn't it?
No respect for death. What happens if our crewman kills himself?
If you'd had insurance, you wouldn't be worried about yourself.
I had to tell him.
That we will tell them next time.
Yeah, well, we always
not
tell
next
them.
time. It's this time. It's this
we
time.
Always
That's enough.
Tell them on the crew note.
I think enough for this time. It's not next time.
Yeah,
but
you're worried about
we have got at the present moment now. It's true, but next time we will tell them they're not insured. They're responsible.
I know you English, but the English people, I don't think English people do like this. It's not fair. Right?
We are being fair. I have dealt with 5 cases today, and I've been fair with every one of them.
Yeah.
I've been fair with every one of them.
But now you do not fair. Sure.
I haven't got time. That's why.
Yeah.
We haven't got time.
Yes, all along the shore, it's time for the sailor's farewell. As passengers hurry back with their Bangkok shopping, the crew linger over their goodbyes. So, what's the aftermath of last night? How are you feeling?
Broken toe, split tooth, and a headache.
Yeah, where's the tooth? Can I see?
Yes, lag.
You're gonna get it fixed on board, eh?
Well, I have to, yeah.
How did you break your toe?
Well, I annoyed the fella. I was about to throw him off the ring. The referee said no, and so I dropped him on the floor and I kicked him with my foot.
That did it?
Well, that annoyed him. Then he kicked me in the face.
I see. Well, anybody would, I suppose.
Yeah,
but he was about half your size, of course.
Yeah, he's a fit man.
Well, you don't look bad, Nick.
I abused myself.
Talking about abusing yourself, I'm told this is a pretty good run ashore, Pattaya.
The best place I've ever seen. Best place.
The best?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, before I got down that street, I've never seen a street like it in my life. And I've been around the world a few times. It's the first time I've been here.
Now, what are we talking about?
Well, entertainment.
Oh, just
in general.
Oh, yeah, look. You've got women, you've got drink, but, you know...
Yeah, but haven't you got that everywhere?
No.
Yeah, but it's free though, isn't it?
It's free, it's free, yeah.
Very hospitable
they're here, aren't they?
Lovely people.
Yeah. The other thing is, you come on here and you do your money in one day. If you were here for 4 days, what would happen?
We'd go skinned after the first day.
Broke.
Yeah, yeah. So it's Pattaya for the crew and Hong Kong for the passengers, really.
No, Hong Kong's a good run ashore. Is it? Oh, yeah. We'll just have to borrow money when we get to Hong Kong.
It isn't often we get an overnight in port, and when they do get an overnight in port, obviously you're going to run a lot. So you get 2 or 3 overnights. So say you're on for 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Then you maybe got 2 or 3 overnights when you go out for a night in that 3 months. So when you do get ashore, you go crazy, don't you?
My wife shouldn't know about this. She thinks I'm working.
But she's going to see you getting a kick on the jaw. Is that all right?
That's good. Yeah, she'll love that. She enjoys me getting knocked about, and as long as I'm earning the money and sending it home, she's quite happy.
But no girls?
No.
Wherever she goes, the QE2 has considerable impact upon those ashore and is not easily forgotten. She's not just a ship, she's an event.
Don't forget you're serving my cornflakes tomorrow. Sterilise everyone.
And next Wednesday night, the QE2 reaches China when a city 8 times the size of Manchester comes to a halt before such shipmates from outer space. While they look at factories and the crew tackle the Chinese at football, there's culture shock for everyone. As a Cunard man says, they all think we're visitors from another planet. After that significant coming together, the QE2 sails away towards home and reality.
Now on BBC One.